Welcome to another 42 Stories Anthology Presents. Today we have Scott Morris, or Scott Russell Morris, as far as you are found in the book, under the werewolf chapter. You have one of the werewolf stories. Would you like to, well, welcome, first of all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, it's my pleasure. I think that you have a diverse amount of writing out there, and I was checking out your books that are available, so I want to hear your bio. That's why I'm excited. So tell us about it.
All all right. So I am a writer and enthusiast. I teach at Cornell College in Mount Vernon, Iowa. I'm brand new there. I just started this semester. I am the creator and editor of Magpie Zines, which is a zine about tarot and found arts and lyric writings. I'm also the author of the essay collection Points of Tangency, which actually is being published just this week. It is coming out. And it's a collection of personal essays, a little bit travel writing from places around, but it also kind of tells the story of me meeting my wife and us getting married and starting to have kids. Um, and I am obsessed with squirrels. I absolutely love squirrels. And I also have over 200 board games because I really like playing games.
Hmm. Did you mention tarot?
Yes.
Okay. My fiance is really into tarot. I'll have to tell her about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, she'll enjoy those zines then. So every zine comes with a custom tarot card that I make to go along with the zine.
You
And
make
then
them with your
I
art.
ma- I do, yeah. Some of them I commission an artist to make, but most of them I make myself.
Oh,
Uh, so the cover of the main zine, I have like a main zine line and then several mini zines. All of them come with custom tarot cards, but the ones that are the main ones, I commission an illustrator to make look nicer.
yeah. I'm also trying to get my nieces into it so that she has something to teach them when they officially meet.
Oh,
We live in Japan, they're in Texas.
yeah,
I think it'd be fun for her to teach them tarot. Do
that's
you have
fun.
any kids ones?
Um, I have some kid-friendly ones. There is, let's see if I can think of the name one. If you look kids tarot, you'll find some on the internet. But there's
Yeah.
one that came out recently that's a cat themed one that I bought for my son.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can find the name of it because I think it was very cat friendly.
Okay.
It's called Cats Rule the Earth Tarot. It's pretty cute and I really enjoy that. There's another one that's just called Cat Tarot.
Hmm.
Also very kid friendly. But I think the Cats Rule the Earth Tarot, the the book it comes with is a little more thorough, and it's a little pricier because of that, but not that big a difference.
It's interesting. So your story in the anthology is the beast who hunts the moon filled woods, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. I didn't ask before, and I apologize for putting you on the spot, but if and I have it if you'd like. Would you like to give it a read? Sometimes hearing
Sure.
an author read a story is a great way to
Yeah.
get their voice out. And I forgot to ask you that before we were prepping. But
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. But if you have it that you can
yeah,
pull up on screen that I could read
yeah.
it, that'd be good because I do not have it up right
I'm
now.
gonna send it to you in the chat.
Okay,
Just gonna
great.
take a moment. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, because it's a good story, and what I was wondering while rereading it is what it sounds like to hear your voice while you narrate it, because sometimes people could read something and they don't get the point that the writer meant or yeah meant. So here you go.
Okay. So the beast who hunts the moon-filled woods. You wake in bloody night clothes. You've no memory of violence, but the neighbors claim something haunts the moon-filled woods. You suspect you're the beast they fear. You're horrified of your culpability. Then again, none of the corpses belong to people you love.
Yeah, yeah. I like the kind of acceptance that's in that story, where they realize that they might be doing awful things, and then it comes down to something like, "But I don't know these people."
Yeah.
Yeah. There's kind of an honesty in that is inside inside of everyone, and it makes it relatable. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I
Thank you.
think
Yeah.
that it'll appeal to people when they read that story. Yeah, and that's just one of them, one of many. So
Yeah, I'm excited to see the whole collection, especially the other werewolf stories, to see how they all compare. And
They're all really unique. I was surprised that they weren't the same. There were some stories in some chapters where I read one and they were all like grandma, grandma, grandma. And I go, really? But in the werewolf chapter, everything was really different. And that was what was surprising about it. So now that we have your bio, why don't you tell people where you are? Because it's night here, it's day where you are.
yeah, so I am currently in Iowa, the United States. It's 9 a.m. I'm in a little town called Mount Vernon.
Hmm.
It's about 4,000 people, which includes, I think that census includes the students who are at the university. So actual people who live in the town is probably closer to 3,000. And we're just outside of Cedar Rapids or Iowa City, which is a larger metropolitan area. But yeah, just a cute little town. But as I said before, I just barely moved here. I've only lived here for about 2 months.
Yeah, you came back from Korea, you said.
Yeah, I was living in Korea for 6 years. So this story I wrote while I was in Korea. I started the Magpie Zines thing while I was in Korea. So yeah, we'll see how America treats my writing life. But
Can I ask two extra questions about this,
yeah,
your move?
yeah.
So, what was culture shock for you, first of all,
When I went to Korea,
when you came back?
oh, when I came back, I don't know if this is exactly culture shock, but I'm still getting used to waving at people instead of bowing. Because
Oh,
In Korea, you always bow, like even just kind of like
yeah.
a slight nod of your head. And I still like in Iowa, everyone waves at each other, and I'm still bowing, like so I'm getting used to waving again. The biggest culture shock every time I've lived abroad and come back is just the size of the grocery stores. We
Yeah,
have so many options in American grocery stores. And it's not that I couldn't find what I wanted in a Korean store. Like I could get salsa, I could get green chilies or tortillas or whatever, stuff. You'll know I grew up in the Southwest, so all of my American food are really Tex-Mexy sort of things. But
I'm from Texas.
um, nice, yeah. It so I could find them, but if you go to the grocery store, there's like if there is salsa, there's one type of salsa,
Yeah,
and there's one variety of tortilla, maybe. And so here you go, and there's like an aisle of salsa, and um, I mean, and of course that's mostly just because that's rarer. In Korea, there's an aisle of ramen,
yeah.
whereas now you're lucky to, besides like the cheap ramen, you're lucky if there's one nice ramen.
The poisonous ramen that kills you, that one.
Yeah, I haven't bought any ramen since I got to America, and I do miss Korean ramen. It is really good.
Uh,
But yeah, I'd say that's the biggest culture shock is mostly just I always find the grocery store a little overwhelming when I first get back to America
oh,
after being abroad.
I'm feeling really lucky because my parents were chefs. So when I moved
Okay.
to Japan and there was nothing, I went, it's okay, I can just make it. Like there wasn't a good tomato sauce for pasta or pizza.
Yeah,
So when I make that for my fiance, I just make it.
yeah, that's good.
And
That's good.
we go to a restaurant. Well, we went to a restaurant a few weeks ago when we had pasta, and she said, "Why did we come here? Yours is so much better." And that felt great to hear that.
That is nice to hear.
You go,
That's,
yeah.
that's,
So
that's good to
I don't
hear.
need the aisles, but sometimes I do miss the variety, like you're saying.
Yeah,
It's definitely something appealing about America. And in Texas, it's always so big and
yeah,
and then here, if you want something big, you pay a lot of money. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So my other question, speaking of that kind of thing with food, is what food did you eat first when you came back?
Oh, what did I eat?
Not first, but that you
Uh,
craved and that you went, I have to go get this.
I don't even remember.
Oh, okay, okay. Because
We
for
lived
me,
in
I know what I'm going to go for when I go to America.
I remember the first time I lived abroad. I remember, so we moved. The first time we lived abroad was about 10 years ago. We were living in Kazakhstan,
Hmm.
and we moved from Kazakhstan to Texas. I'm not from Texas, but that's where we lived right afterwards. And I was obsessed with green chilies.
Hmm.
I'd always liked green chilies, but like somehow having been denied them for a year, and in Texas, we were living in West Texas, so really close to New Mexico.
Yeah.
Um, and I was just and this was lots of green chilies on the menu, and anytime there was a green chili version, I was like, that's the one I have to have, even though I had never been like a huge green chili fan before that, but somehow leaving America and coming back made me obsessed with them. I'm trying to remember like what I loved here.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know, Diet Dr. Pepper.
Oh,
Which
okay.
you can get regular Diet Dr. Pepper, but not Diet. I
Hmm.
drank way too much soda when I first got the first few weeks we got here. I'm not even really a soda person, but
You kind of missed it.
yeah, and that's the thing about living abroad is like in America, I don't usually buy a lot of like junk food, like
Hmm.
chips and ice cream and stuff. But in Korea, you're like, oh, there's an American brand of that ice cream or that chips. It's like I
Yeah.
have to have it now, even though I I never really craved it before.
Hmm.
So being denied something makes you weirdly crave it, even when you never really wanted it before.
Hmm.
Uh,
That goes with things too. When I moved here, I didn't see anything American for the longest time. And suddenly
yeah,
a quarter fell out of something I had from America. And I
yeah,
looked at it and I didn't even know I missed America until I looked at that quarter. And I went,
mhm,
wow, I didn't even realize I missed home a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
so I know what you mean, that kind of nostalgia. But sticking to kind of food, let's get to the four short questions,
Hmm.
which are can relate to can relate to writing and sometimes they can't, but they're just sort of icebreakers. And how about we talk about sweet foods? What's kind of your go-to?
Um, so I love making brownies. Um, and as you talked about making stuff from scratch, I love making stuff from scratch, but brownies is the one that I don't because I just want it quick and easy. If I'm splurging, I'll get the Ghirardelli brownies, but I love warm brownies. I like them undercooked. And contrary to most people, it seems, I do not want the edges. I want the slightly undercooked middle that's still really gooey. I like to joke with my wife that I like brownie batter warmed up, and then put a scoop of ice cream on top, and it is just the most decadent of my favorite desserts.
You'd like the Japan version of brownies because that's pretty much
Yeah.
where there's no corners, it's all soft like cake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'd like their version. I'm the opposite though, but yeah, it depends
Well,
on.
there's plenty of edge around the brownie pan for those who want the edge.
Yeah, I understand the appeal though, the gooiness. Let's go to some kind of writer-esque questions. Tell me about your
Mhm.
writer circle.
Yeah, so when I was in Korea, I had a really great writer's circle that I started up uh, shortly after I got there. It originally started as a academic writing group because I was working at
Oh,
a university. Uh, but then the only people who really stuck it through were the people doing creative writing in their academic sort of sense, including myself. So we transitioned to a creative writing group and we started inviting the community to it, not just people working on academic stuff. And we would just meet at a cafe once a week and we had people working on all sorts of things. We had some like graphic novels, we had someone writing a video game, we had memoirs and novels and children's books and screenplays. So it was very diverse and really great. And it ran, so I was there for 6 years. So it was pretty active, I would say, for about four and a half of those, including through the pandemic. We had a few online and also just Korea was a lot stricter and therefore safer than I think a lot of American places. So we were still able to meet at a cafe just shorter times and with masks and stuff. So it was really great. And some of the people that I met through that ended up being some of my very best friends while we were
oh,
there. So I haven't found one yet here in Korea, or here back in America, but it was really meaningful to me. In fact, the piece that is in here was workshopped in that group. And
really?
yeah, so pretty much everything I publish through my zines or my book, I filtered through my writing group. So um, it was a really meaningful part of my writing process.
Yeah, your book sounds interesting, by the way. Well, I was reading the summary earlier. It sounds really interesting.
Oh,
Along with
thank
your
you.
board games, I forgot to ask you a board game question, but I'll get to that later at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. What's the title of your book again?
It's called Points of Tangency.
Yeah, that one. I wanna check that out because I was reading the summary. and thought it sounds really interesting. Yeah. What inspired that? I don't mean to segue and go to another question. But,
Yeah, no, that's fine. So, Points of Tangency, the summary, we'll say that it's about a closeted queer Mormon, navigating the world. Um, it was a long time coming. I talk about this in the kind of the author's note at the end, but I wrote. I mean, it's hard to say I wrote it because the draft changed so much. But the first essay that's in there, I wrote the first draft of, I want to say, like probably 15, 16 years ago. And So a lot of the pieces originally were not meant to be cohesive. I was just writing for classes or just writing whatever I was writing. But then as I looked at my so some of the stuff I'd written as an undergraduate, some of the stuff I'd just written for fun, um, my master's thesis, and also my doctoral dissertation. I pulled from a whole bunch of stuff I had written over the years. I also wrote several new ones for the book, but I realized that there was kind of this theme throughout of me imagining the lives of other people.
hmm.
Sometimes that imagining was people I had no idea who it was. Like I talked about, just like looking at strangers on the street. There's one piece where I imagined the life of a girl who lived thousands and thousands of years ago by looking at a piece in a museum.
Hmm.
But I also do a lot of stuff talking about it talks about how I met my wife and us having kids, and so there's pieces about like how we first started dating and some rockiness we had while we were dating before we got married, and me trying kind of learning some empathy for other people and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But it takes place. Um, it's not that every essay is about me and my wife, but that is kind of sprinkled in throughout.
Hmm.
And yeah, so and then while I was putting the book together, I also knew that there was a piece I really wanted to write, which is about one of the reasons I fell in love with my wife was because she was so accepting of LGBTQ people. I had never told anyone that I was bisexual before, but I really wanted to write this piece. So by writing the book, I also kind of got the courage to finally come out of the closet.
Oh.
But then I had to edit the whole book with that in mind. uh,
Hmm.
so yeah,
So she accepts you no matter what, and that's great.
yeah, no, it was good. It was a
It's
great
great when you
chance.
find someone who you could tell them anything in the world and they just like, and they're like, it's okay, I already figured it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. So that kind of leads to a question that I have that I was going to go to next.
Hmm.
Because I could tell that your writing can go anywhere. You get into a character's head and then this and that. And you've written so many countries. So I just wonder for you, like, what's the best way to write? That's where that comes in.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of just sit down and start writing.
Hmm.
Um, and of course, that's not always easy for everyone, especially now that I have kids. It's harder to sit down. But yeah, I'm definitely a big proponent of the first draft is the worst draft, and it's fine. You just need to get thoughts down. Um, and I think it's Hemingway is like the first draft of anything is shit,
Yeah,
and then the um, Brian Doyle. He's a writer I really admire. I was at a
edit guy.
Yeah, I was at a talk that he gave, and he's like, I write 3 pages and I delete two,
Yeah.
and something like that. And I was like, that gave me so much permission, I think, just to write badly.
Hmm.
And I've tried to instill that in my students too. Like, just give yourself permission to write badly, and then you can edit it down to what it needs to be. And a lot of times, especially because I mostly write personal essays, you don't really know what you're writing about until you've gotten there.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times just writing and writing and writing until like, oh, this little thing I just wrote, that's what I actually want to be writing about. That's what all of this was leading towards. And a lot of times you can end up deleting the stuff that got you there. And yeah, and there's the very last essay in my book. There's this one scene that is barely even a scene. I think I even flipped it into like a few sentences of hypothetical, like you might do something like this.
Hmm.
And it started by me sitting in a library and I had this one thought and I really wanted to write it. And the first draft of that essay, I like detailed the entire library. I described all the people I was seeing
Oh.
because that was who I was watching because I'm a people watcher. And I had all these great lines I loved, and eventually I was like, that idea is still the heart of this essay, but this scene is not. It doesn't need to be in here. It's distracting. So that's, I'd say, a big part of how I write is just write, 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 and then hope I figure out what that little the thing that actually needs to be in.
Hmm. That makes a lot of sense. So with that in mind, what's your editing process like?
Um, I do a lot of mixed styles of editing. A lot of times, um, I like to print it out and read it on paper, or a lot of times I'll handwrite new sections just to kind of get a new flow. I do a lot of retyping of like I'll open a separate document and just start typing it again to see how I like it. Um, I really enjoy reading my piece aloud to other people.
Oh,
Once I feel pretty confident in the idea, if it's still too new, I can't do that because I will take the criticism too harshly. But um, yeah, so I try to do a mix of things.
mhm.
Um, yeah,
Reading aloud is magical. I think that it's a great way to find typos and it's a great way to hear if you believe what you're saying. And then
yeah,
when you read it to someone else, you can hear the voice of it and by
yeah,
seeing someone's reaction because they look at you a certain way and then you go, am I really getting out the words that need to be here?
yeah.
Depending on how they look at you. And
I
yeah,
agree. And
there's kind of a
so many,
magic to editing out loud.
yeah, so many times I'm reading something out loud and I'm like, oh, it doesn't say what I thought it said. So, or that doesn't sound right next to each other like that.
One
Yeah,
of the writers though in the book, I don't remember the word, but he used the longest word in the world in
yeah,
English, and it's in the 42 Stories Anthology. And what is it? I just couldn't imagine this guy reading that out loud.
yeah.
I'm gonna try to interview him and get him to do it.
Well, I
See if
look
that
forward to
guy.
hearing it.
But that said, what inspires you as a writer?
Um, I don't know. I'm pretty, as yeah, I don't know. I just feel this is kind of, it always feels hokey when I talk about it, but I feel a general like urge to be creative, and I kind of always have. Um, I I just love the act of creativity, both in myself and in others. I love collecting weird art that people have made, and it doesn't have to be like good art because just I'm just like I feel like I need to be creating, and as my family will tell you, I get really grumpy if I haven't made anything in a while. So a lot of times, if I'm not my best self, my partner will be like, "Go write for an hour," or like, "Go to your." I have an art journal where I do like doodles or collage or stuff. It's like, "Go work in your art journal for a second." Um, yeah, so I think, and yeah, thankfully, some of that leads to actual professional work being made, but a vast majority of it is not at all anything I would ever show to anyone. But yeah, I just am really inspired by people who make art for art's sake,
Hmm,
for the process that for myself as well.
that's great. So that can really lead into the last question. Well, how do you organize writing in your life?
Not very well. I am not someone who has like a writing schedule, who wakes up at 5 and writes or has a specific time. So, um, as we said earlier in the conversation, although I can't remember if it was before you recorded or not, I have a pretty flexible job, thankfully, as a professor. I have big swaths of time.
Hmm,
And I also have a family who's really supportive of my creative endeavor. So more and more it is becoming that I do need to schedule it as like on Tuesday from 3 to 4, I have an hour and I will write during that time.
yeah.
But generally it is just I thrive really well on deadlines, and I try to impose those deadlines on myself, um, by promising somebody something like I will have a draft to you by this time, which is one reason why a writing group was really good for me because
Yeah.
it gave me a deadline, even though it was one that if I broke it, no one really cared about. But and it's also good that, and like this is part of why I have chosen this profession. But as a professor in the creative writing program,
Hmm.
um, I I'm expected to be writing, and that expectation kind of helps me be like I have to write. It is my professional obligation.
Hmm.
even though it's also one of the main reasons I'm in this profession. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's really good advice. I had kind of major writer's block doing my dissertation, but it's applied
Hmm.
linguistics. And I just had a note on my phone and it would flash every day as a reminder saying dissertation today, like got milk today, but instead
Yeah.
dissertation today. And I go, okay,
Yeah.
fine. I would try to write. But having people keep
Yeah.
me accountable, like you're saying you
Yeah.
do, I think that that would be a stronger way to do it. Looking for accountability with through others. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really good.
if it'll work for you. I think some people can buckle under that stress. It makes them more stressed out to have deadlines. Um, so if it works, then I suggest it all out. I didn't put this in the preliminary interview stuff, but and I need to get it here because again, I just moved offices, so I haven't put up all of my motivational things yet. But besides a large sign that says the first draft of anything is shit, which I'd like to have really big for all of
Like,
my
oh,
students to see. I also there's a book by Anne Lamott called Bird by Bird,
yeah.
and the idea of bird by bird is just a little bit at a time. And so I used to have it was actually just a sticky note. I might enhance it for my current office, but just the phrase that says bird by bird, just as a reminder that like I don't have to write the whole book today. If I can write a few sentences today, that would be great. And so that's the other thing I try to remind myself in terms of organizing my time is because I'm kind of a spontaneous writer, um, that even if all I write is a paragraph today or a few sentences or just delete a sentence that I wrote yesterday, like that's also progress. Um,
Yeah,
so
even thinking about it in a way can be
mhm,
because you're
yeah,
outlining when you do that.
yeah,
Yeah. So, where can people find either you if they want to stalk you, or where can they find your work?
yeah. So I have a website. It is www.scoticus.com, and Scoticus is Skoticus. Um, and there's links there to my book as well as to my zines, and some of the visual art that I've done, or on Instagram at Magpie Zines,
Okay.
all one word. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like I already follow you there. Okay.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, with the anthology in my account. Yeah. So I'll keep up with it. Before you go, could I show you what the anthology has for people interested? It's kind of how I'm paying the editors and artists. Well, I'm gonna try.
Absolutely.
It's a merch store. I know that what some people do with these videos is suddenly it cuts and then there's this random video where they're wearing different clothes. It's a different day. The person they were talking to isn't even there. They're just like, "Hey, check out my merch." I don't want to do that, so I just want to make it real. If it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think it's more honest to just get someone's reaction. This way, you could say if it's not good or something, you know. Just show you what I got going. It's from Redbubble. Are you familiar? Oh, that's my background.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know Redbubble.
yeah, and what they do is if you have some kind of art, you mentioned you make art, so you could technically take
Hmm.
your art and then put it on a shirt, and it's a good way to market it. Or you take your book title, you put it on a clock, something like that. But here I took the title of the book and I put it on a bunch of different products, and you can go products and then see different ways to see the book title. And I don't know, how does it look to you?
That's great.
Okay, thanks.
I like that they have so many options.
Yeah. How familiar with
I
Hitchhiker's Guide are you?
I have read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy
All right.
when I
So,
was a teenager, so it's been a long time. I have seen the movie. I
okay.
did not finish the whole series though.
Oh, well, what I really liked is well, I wanted them to have a towel because they say don't forget your towel. And but they have this kind of as a secondary thing, tapestry, and it's really close to a towel. And I go, it's
Oh,
close
did
enough.
they not have actual towels?
No,
That's
they even have bath mats,
ah,
and
you should
then
write.
tapestry, no towel.
You should
That
write to complain about that. That feels like an oversight.
that's a good idea. Yeah. But they do have other things kind of like it. Anyway, yeah, thanks for taking a look.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
I've just
you.
got a mug, and that's what I'll be drinking from for these videos.
Nice.
So yeah, thank you for your time. It was great talking with you.
It was great talking with you too. Thank you so much.